these are the questions that I think we can jump into. So, the purpose of this one, we're going to try a little different, is to get some participation from you. Ask me some questions, anything that you want help with right now. It could be about the process, of building a business on Amazon. It could be about products. We could jump into the tools, look at tools, specific things on tools. Literally any questions you have that can help you in the next 30 minutes with your Amazon business, I'm here to help you and give you some feedback. So, I've got a couple of starter things here where we could talk about, which is like, for example, starting your Amazon business. Have you got questions around your goals, your process, your mindset? How do you plan to start your business? What are you struggling with around that? It looks like in terms of it sounds like the audience here, it's a little bit of the journey of starting, but maybe also launching products. So starting, I had some questions around that. Picking, have you got questions around picking products, product validation, tools, just how do you go about exactly picking? And we could look at some examples. So that's something we could jump into. What about launching? It looks like a few of you have questions around launching. So, what is your launch plan? What are you focusing on there? Have you launched? Are you struggling? What are some things you can do there to try and up your game on the launch side? Some really interesting things we can talk about there. And then scaling. If you're growing your business and you want to scale it and you want to scale it profitably, what are some questions you might have around there where you might be struggling? We can talk about how to get onto that Amazon flywheel and just truly drive your business. So those are areas that we can talk about. I'd love to see some questions from you there. Just drop them in there. Don't be shy. I want to come in and help you guys to answer a few questions. We only have a few of you on there today, so any questions you have, this is truly a chance to come on and ask me directly. I'm happy to help, and we'll give you a second or two to see if we can get some questions. If not, we can jump in and maybe start looking at some examples, and maybe some questions will pop up as we go. One other thing, and I've tagged it at the top there on the chat, is don't forget we have our webinar next week. It's on the 10th. It's on the 9th in the US, on the 10th in Australia. It's going to be in the morning in Australia, and it's all about how to dominate Australia. We have a bunch of experts coming on. We have Adam Hudson coming on, talking about the numbers, the trends. What is he seeing from a business financial perspective with Amazon Australia as an opportunity. I'm going to be talking about products, showing a bunch of products. I've been researching the whole of this week, just putting together a whole bunch of products that I can actually show you and compare it to the US. And then I've got some ideas on the US as well that I'll be sharing. And then we're going to be jumping in with Cameron. Cameron is he's part of the ZonGuru team, but he's a multi-brand seller on Amazon.com. But he's also launched some products on Amazon Australia. So he's going to talk about that experience. What's he seeing there? How's his sales? What's happening when he goes FBA with Amazon Australia? So super interesting there. And then finally, it's going to be Kimberly and Angela doing kind of a campfire setting where they're going to be talking about how do you truly create an amazing brand to sell on Amazon.com or Amazon Australia. What are the main things that you need to be looking at to ensure that you have a successful product? So a really cool group that is going to be put together. And importantly, right at the end, there's going to be a Q&A where we're going to have some questions. I'm going to host that, and we're going to spend some time truly digging in specifically on Amazon Australia. Plus, we have some tool announcements, some free assets that you can use, a whole bunch of stuff that's going to help you. So if you haven't registered, I'll put the link at the top there. Just jump in. It's tagged at the top, but you should be able to see it, and we can go from there. Okay, well, I see 7 attendees, and I don't see one question yet. So maybe it's just lagging a bit, but guys, if you have questions, this is the time. So, maybe I can just ask you, what is the area that you're struggling with most, or within that area? It sounds like starting is one area, launching is the other. What are some questions that you may have that I can answer, and we can jump in and look at some tools. So I'm going to stop my screen share right here. Let's jump in. So I see a few questions here. I'm going to start with, it looks like there's some questions around starting. So, what are some of your challenges you have around starting? I can tell you from my experience, some of the things that I really struggled with. I think the very first thing is most of you, if you're starting out in this industry, you have a 9-to-5 job, you have some kind of job, something that's taking your time, and you've got to fit this in around that. And I think the very first thing that you need to do is sit down and put together a plan. And the plan that I like to, at a very basic level, the plan that I like to put together is a year from now, right? So if today's June 5th, by next year, June 4th, what is my business going to look like? What are my goals that I want in that year? And I think a really achievable goal with that is to say, by next year on June 4th, I will have a product live on Amazon. Maybe there'll be 2 variations, but a specific brand live on Amazon. And that brand will be doing, depending on what number you want to set, but put down an actual number and say it's going to be 50,000 US a month, right? That I think is a really great achievable goal. And it is absolutely something you can achieve. It could even be 100,000, but let's just say 50,000. And you need to write that down. I think this is a critical thing. It's obviously, a lot of, personal development, that kind of stuff. It's really important to write down that number and put it somewhere where you're like, hey, by this year, at this time, I'm going to be selling on Amazon and doing 50,000 a month. That's the goal I put down. And I achieved that, actually. I achieved that and exceeded that within a year. But I put that down as my goal. And then I worked backwards from there. So I literally, with all the education I've had from Reliable and learnings that I did myself, I kind of said, if that's my end goal, what are what I call minor stones? What are the minor stones that I can write down by breaking that down, right? And I could go, okay, 1 month, if I'm going to be selling and making 50,000 on June 4th, that means I need to be live at least 2 months before that. So I wrote that down. Okay, I have to be live 2 months before that. So I have 2 months to scale the business and really get it up to that point of 50,000. So great, 2 months I have to be live. So that's, and then, if I'm going to be live, then I need to, ship my stock 2 months before that or a month before that to get it in. And I kind of went backwards and broke them all the way down until I got to a point where I was 1 month out from today. And then I said, okay, well, what do I need to do in the next 4 weeks? And then each of those weeks, I broke down the weeks until I broke down exactly what I needed to do this week. And that was really a pivotal moment for me, because it gave me this plan where instead of me feeling overwhelmed, like, what do I need to do 6 months from now? I have to create a brand. I have to create, I have to create a marketing strategy. I have to do all of these kind of things. It stopped me from focusing on that and just literally focusing on what I need to do this week and this day, and by breaking it down into those minor stones, it became really, really achievable and simple. And it just took off all the anxiety and the weight that I had around how to build this business. And then I just literally said to myself, the one rule that I need to put in place is that every day I'll do one thing on my Amazon business, whether it's an hour or 1 minute, I'm going to do something. And I just trusted in that. And every day I just looked and said, okay, this is what I need to do this week. I need to find a product. Great. I'll do 10 minutes of research. I'll do 10 minutes every day until I got that product. That's how I started. And very quickly, within 6 months, I looked back and I was like, I can't believe how far I've got. So if you're struggling to start, hopefully that helps. That's what my approach was, which is the minor stone approach, and just taking consistent action. So if I summed that up, it was set a goal, put a monetary value against that, and put it somewhere where you can read it every day or once a week or whatever, just so your mind starts to really focus on achieving that goal, and then break down with a plan or the minor stones of what you need to achieve each month. And so you get to your first month, break that down into weeks, and then you know exactly what you need to do this week, and then forget about everything else and just do what you need to do this week. That's what got me, and then do it consistently. Like, make sure you do that every week. And I got there, and it wasn't at the end of the day that much work. It was maybe 10 hours a week on top of my normal job, and I got there. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions around that, let me know. Kasha, I hope I said that right, or Cassia. Have you noticed any difference between fulfillment costs in the US and Australia? So Cassia, I hope I said that right. I don't. It depends on what you mean by fulfillment. If you're talking about FBA and fulfillment costs there, yes, there are differences, and the FBA fees and how they structure that, and storage fees are different per market. So whether it's the US, whether it's Australia, whether it's Europe, the fees are different. And in fact, I think in the US on June, I think it's now actually, I think it might be live June, or it might be middle of this month. There's actually some fees that are getting updated. Now, if you want to know exactly what the fees are, and a little birdie's telling you right now, next week, we're going to give you the actual FBA calculator for Australia. Super cool. If you want to get that, we'll be putting in all the rates and everything for specifically FBA Australia. Excuse me. So that's available. But if you want to use it for .com, you want to check that out, we have a calculator. If you go to free tools on ZonGuru.com, I'll show you real quick, actually. Let's see if I can grab my mouse again. Let me just share my screen. If you go to ZonGuru and you go up into the top over here, which says free resources, and you click on free tools, right over here, there's a few free tools you can use, right? So there's Keywords on Fire Lite. If you just want to get a few keywords for your product, you can launch that. There's the ASIN index checker to see if you're indexing. That's a free tool. And then we have the FBA calculator. This is a downloadable, calculator it's got so many formulas on the back end. But if you download that, you can simply start to plug in your data around this, and it's going to calculate it based on the latest fees. And I think we're the only one in the space right now that actually has it updated with the latest fees. And as I said, next week, we'll be releasing the Australia one, so you can have a look at that as well. So I hope that helps. All right, Cassia, so yeah, no problem. I hope that helps. Your FBA seems lower yes, FBA seems lower in Australia. 100%, it's really important to think about Amazon Australia, right? And Amazon Australia at the moment they are investing in us as sellers. And if you look at Amazon Australia right now, they are trying to get variety, choice. They are buying as many products as they can from retail stores. Amazon's buying retail products from retail stores at wholesale and putting that onto Amazon themselves and selling it there. Whether they're selling it for a margin or not, who knows? But they're just trying to get velocity and get some products on there so that you as customers start to use that in an everyday experience. So that's what they're trying to do, and they're brilliant at doing this. I mean, they've done it in every single market. Amazon Australia is the fastest growing marketplace in the world right now, so they know what they're doing. But the point is that you as an FBA seller, if you go to Amazon Australia and you're like, hey, I want to sell FBA, they're going to back you. They're going to give you as great rates as possible. They're going to support you. They're going to help you get ranking. They're going to help you to make sales because they want individuals like yourselves to be on that platform and to start making money for yourself and importantly money for them, right? So the fees are going to be lower. There's going to be lower barriers to entry. They want you on there, and you're a big fish in a much smaller pond in comparison to Amazon.com, where they have the opposite problem, where they have so many people on there that it's even harder sometimes to get in on categories because they make it a lot stricter. So it's the opposite in Australia right now, and we're seeing a lot of success. So tune in again next week if you're excited to hear more about Amazon Australia. What other questions you got? You guys have got me for a few minutes, so I hope there's some questions here. It looks like, what else we got here? PJ, yeah, from Toronto. Nice. Good to have you. I've been to Toronto. It's an amazing city. It's probably one of the most multiculturally diverse cities I've been to. It was super awesome. Grace, you're talking about budget right here. So I probably need a little bit more info on that in terms of budget. But are you talking about launch budget? If you're talking about launch budgets, we have a calculation on our Chrome extension that actually will show you a launch budget. And I can show you that real quick. Let's just jump over and have a look at that because maybe that's exactly what you would like to hear more about. So let's do that. I'm going to share. And okay, so what product do we have? Candle making kit. So we have a candle making kit in the Chrome extension, and we have this in our niche radar. We have this thing called a launch budget right here. So you can see for this product category, the launch budget, the monthly revenue, average monthly revenue for page one is 25,000, and launch budget is 14,000. This to me is a great micro niche, a niche on Amazon.com right now that you can get in on, right? There's people here making 64,000, 50. But to be honest, their kind of launch budget of 14 grand is actually awesome. And the price point is amazing. It's $32, right? So this is a great product that you could sell and you could source pretty easily. I don't know. Yeah, right here. Bam. Click here, mini, large, premium kid-scented soy candles kit. Done. I'll order that and I'll get going on Amazon. There you go. Not as easy as that, but hey. So when we look at all the products on here, right, you can see all the kits. There's different ones. Hopefully, if you launch a product here, you'd understand the marketplace a little bit. Maybe you could get a little bit more crafty. This one looks to me like it kind of stands out immediately. Look at this one; it's beautiful. It kind of the brand aligns with someone who would be creating a candle making kit. That to me looks way better than something like that, right? But this is a beginner kit, so I guess that there you go. But anyway, so you get the idea. Yeah, you can get in, you can jump in and have a look at this. But the launch budget is over here, and what we do from a launch budget, this guideline is basically saying at the velocity of page one, which is monthly sales of 787, right? So on average, there's 787 sales being made by by listings on this page, at the price point and the cost of goods, we take it 30%. That's how much stock you need to buy for 3 months of stock, right? So we look at 3 months. You could probably look at 2 months, but the idea there is like you're gonna bet on yourself. You're gonna buy 3 months of stock. You're gonna choose wisely, and you're gonna have enough where you can run all your marketing activities. You can run everything, and you can start to scale to the velocity of page one, and then order new stock before you run out. And that's how we work out the launch budget. So it's the monthly average velocity of sales for page one at a 30% cost of the retail price, which is your cost of goods. And that's how we work out that number. So, you can play with that. You can go less or more. You could also just order 300-400 units and try. But honestly, if you order a little, I don't think Amazon's really going to give you the backing that you should have to grow. So I think if you're going to take a shot, you should order enough stock and be able to truly sell if they start to give you a bunch of traffic. So any thoughts on launch budgets? You may come back and ask a few more. Cassia, I hope I said that right again. All right, how accurate are the figures on ZonGuru Chrome extension for Amazon Australia? So it's a good question, and it comes up, it comes up with the Amazon.com Chrome extension. It comes up with Australia, Europe, all of those all of our Chrome extensions. And the answer is the best way I can say it. The answer is accurate enough, right? And what I mean by that is everyone in the space has to estimate sales. Like Amazon just doesn't give us that, right? But we have a very, very sophisticated, AI, artificial intelligence, predictive algorithm. That what it does is the way we do it. Others do it differently. Is we take we have actual sales data from customers, other ways that we can get actual sales data, and then we have a predictive algorithm that predicts sales estimates and then compares it to the actual sales, and then it constantly keeps learning and gets better and better prediction versus accuracy and tests it against itself. So we have, and the more data we have and the more volume there is, the more accurate it is, right? So in terms of accuracy, if you're looking at products on page 5, 6, or ranking in position 300, it's going to be a lot less accurate. But when you're looking at page 1 and page 2, it's much more accurate. I would say within 5% of actual sales, 5 to 10%, somewhere around there, to give you, and the more velocity there is, the more accurate it gets. Now, the important thing to also bring up is that if you're just relying on sales estimates to make a decision, you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're not really going to be successful, and you're doing yourself a disservice just to look at sales estimates. You need to look at all of the main questions and the areas that we tackle in the niche radar, which is demand, right? Search volume, really important. Profitability, competitive opportunity, and then your capital launch budget of what you need. And then your fifth one is differentiation, right? And that's what we rate on the niche radar. And when you're looking at all of those data pieces together on a page, you will have enough information to make an accurate decision. When I look at that, sales estimate is a small piece of it. I kind of look at it, I would say, oh, there's 5, there's 10, there's someone doing 20,000. I just kind of look at the average and I say, hey, on that page, I think I could probably, on that example that I showed you, candle making, the average monthly revenue is 25,000. And there's some products there that are doing 60, 50, some are doing 15, 18. So immediately my head just goes, hey, I think I could, if I did a really good job, I could bank on making, 15,000 a month, 20,000 a month, right? So that's how I look at it when I start to kind of gauge it. And that's a wide range, but that's the kind of number you need to know. It doesn't matter if you're saying, hey, it's making $25,000 or $24,500 or $23,000. That's not going to make a difference in your decision to actually start to sell something on Amazon.com or Australia. Now, Australia, there's obviously a whole bunch happening there. There's ranking changes. There's all these kind of things. So if you're comparing marketplaces, there's still some categories that need some work and some volume to really get even more accurate to the level of Amazon.com. But it's way accurate enough. And honestly, when you look at Amazon Australia, you can literally sell anything right now, and you're going to make money. And we're going to talk more about this by next week. But it's mega niches, it's much bigger niches. And if you see the prediction of where everything's going, You just need to pick a mega niche and get in and start selling there. And it's a play of how it's going to make money over the next few years. So don't get stuck on little pieces of hey, is this number $400 or $500? It's accurate enough. It's within 5 to 10% for sure. And obviously, if you have any questions around that, just hit our support up and we can answer it. But you have the data here. And by the way, and we also compare our data to a bunch of other industry standard tools that are out there. I can guarantee you that ours are more consistent and more accurate than anything that's out there. Plus, we give you the other data points to help you make the decision. So I know I answered that in a long-winded way, but it's really important that you look at all the data points and you ask those key questions around the niche radar, which is, how much demand is there? What's the competition opportunity? How much investment do I need? How much capital? And what's the revenue potential? And then finally, how do I differentiate, right? Those are the answers you need. Sales estimates plays a part in that around demand. But it's really about those four or five questions. Okay, let's see. That was Cassia. I think there was another question. David Dodd, if you want to really get inside the track, join Platinum Partners and go live. Very good point. So when I was talking about the plan of how to get live, if you're struggling with that, the Go Live program from Platinum Partners and actually just getting your first product live. It's structured in that way because it really helps you to be consistent and execute and takes some of the pressure off of the things that hold us back, because there's a lot of emotional, heightened emotion around betting on a product, because most of us want financial freedom. This is an amazing opportunity to get there, and sometimes too much emotional weight is put on making a decision around that product. And my advice for anyone there is, it's not your first product that's going to make you financially free. It's your fifth product, right? So you've got to just get live with your first product, and then pick your area, and then get your second, your third, your fourth, and then you're hitting financial freedom in a year or two, right? So with me, my first product sold okay. I still sell it because I love it, but it was my second product that got me into the six figures, and then I have multi brands after that as well. So I hope that helps. A really good point. All right, what else we got here? It looks like we're almost out of time, but I want to just see if I can just answer these questions. Can we not start with a 30 to 45 day stock and then place an reorder at a certain level? PJ, yes, you can. I mean, if 30 to 45 days of stock is totally fine. That's a number where you can order that. And honestly, if your product takes off in that time, especially if it's smaller, you could probably air freight some. You're going to lose some margin, but at least you stay in stock. So again, that's a number you can play with. We like to set it conservative at 3 months. You can bring it down if you want, for sure. All right, let's see. David, is it still the case that AMZ will only accept 200 items at one time? So I'm not actually sure. It's category specific, right? So I don't know all the categories. It's category and it's seller specific. It depends on how long you've been selling on Amazon. They have opened up, so they restricted FBA during the pandemic a lot. You couldn't store that many units, and FBM was a massive strategy and using 3PLs. That's changed. You can get more stock in now, so it's not as restrictive, but it is category specific. So you've got to check out your category and make sure you understand, and obviously how long you've been selling. Okay, what else we got here? You're asking if it's per fulfillment center or across all fulfillment centers. It's across all fulfillment centers. So when you fulfill with Amazon, they'll tell you where to send the stock, but you're limited by your number. And I think it's by ASIN now as well. So you've got to check that out. And if you check out that FBA calculator that we've just released, the one I showed, it has a lot of that information in there. So definitely check that out if you have questions on that. Ben, what's going on? Do you think it's more beneficial to build a brand around one niche category, or are you better off getting a lot of different niches on the market? Super cool question. That'll be my last question. I'm going to answer that for you. And I think that my answer is, let's see. It's how much time do you have, I think, is the answer, Ben, in terms of growing your business on Amazon. I think the most important thing to do is to be focused. And this is across my business right now. ZonGuru is across any business. Start with focus. Do one thing brilliantly And then once you nail that, move on to the next thing, right? So my advice on that is, especially if you're starting out, is to focus on one niche. So, the best case scenario for me, I'll explain an example. Furniture is great. I almost pulled the trigger on furniture a year ago, or 3 years ago, probably 3 years ago, which I didn't. At the time it was looking really good. And why I loved it is, when you're looking for a furniture manufacturer, they have a chair, but they have they have a coat rack. They have every single piece. So it was so easy to say, hey, my brand is furniture, and then to launch one product, and then easy with the same manufacturer launch another one. So you could very quickly scale to that 5-item list under your brand and your niche, so that you could scale and get to a 7-figure business. So I would pick a category or a brand where, and especially a manufacturer, where I can launch 1 or 2 or 3 products with them. So rather than having to find one manufacturer, scale and create a brand, and then find another manufacturer to do that, you're just putting obstacles in the way. So when you do the work up front, my requirements whenever I launch something now is like, pick a manufacturer where they have a line of products that I can launch with, rather than having to find different ones. And that also gives you weight with your manufacturer, because once you have a successful one product, you can probably say, hey, I'm launching the next, and you can get better rates, right, than going to a new manufacturer. So that's how I would start. Once you start growing beyond that, yes, I think it is a really good idea to start a different brand in a different category. And one of the easiest reasons, or one of the easiest examples to explain about that, is just what happened with the pandemic. The sellers who are most successful were those who had a diversified brand portfolio. They had different products in different categories. And so some of them suffered, but some of them just exponentially just took off and just crushed it. And that was typical across anyone. So the people who had more of a diverse portfolio, did way better in the pandemic than those that didn't, on average. But that takes time. That takes time, and that takes years. That's probably in your 5th year. You've got like 2 or 3 different niche categories. So stay focused. One market, one brand, one category. Grow that, and then bring in your second and your third after that. And then obviously you can do marketplace. That also brings in a lot of sophistication with inventory management and all that kind of stuff. But that's definitely a way to scale your business as well. It works really well, but you've got to have your things nailed, and have your the common best flow here is to build everything yourself, then hire a few people to start helping you put in place some standard operating procedures, let them handle that, and then scale to the next level and the next level. And over a few years, you can grow that business really, really quickly. So I hope that helps. All right, one last question here from Dave. If the niche works and it's selling, then expand it. Yes, great. Good. Yes, but watch out for Amazon fulfillment costs. Yes, and profitability and those kind of things, and niches. Yeah, look at that. So again, that FBA calculator, if you want it, jump on there and have a look at it. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. We didn't jump in on a specific thing. It took you guys a few minutes to warm up, but I got some questions out of you, which is great. I hope this helped. If you have any more questions, jump on next week. I think Kimberly, next week we don't have training because we have our webinar. Again, if you want to join the webinar, don't miss it. Just get the replay if you can't make the time. Jump on there. It's pinned at the top, ZonGuru.com, Oz-webinar. Just jump on there, sign up, get the replay. There's some serious experts on there. It's going to be an amazing webinar. I think we have over 1,000 people on there already. So it's jamming right now. And after that, we have another one, and you'll have a chance to have some live questions answered. But hope you enjoyed that. And have a great weekend, everyone. Get fired up about your Amazon business and just get going. It is honestly such a unique opportunity with a little bit of focus and time to scale a business. And it is absolutely there for you or for anyone to take advantage of, no matter what your level of expertise is. You've got all the information, the knowledge, and the people supporting you to get there, especially us. We're passionate about it. And if you have any questions, jump onto support, ask us there. Jump on, guys, and I will see you next week on that live webinar. We'll check you there. Cheers. Have a great afternoon. Bye. Or morning.